over these stupid cars.
Well, you know, there's no question that with the high price of oil and with the world's dependence on importing oil from various regions of the world that sometimes are not always friendly,
Oh, that's right.
that alternatives have to be looked at and explored. There's no question that that's true. That's going to have to happen.
Mm-hmm.
However, there are oil reserves in the United States that according to what I've read, far surpass those in the Middle East.
Anwar, anybody?
Yes, and yet it's almost impossible. No, it is impossible to tap that resource. I'll tell you though, back in the 70s when the first oil embargo took place, and there were long lines. I remember that distinctly.
I remember it well.
I remember that in Brazil they decided we're not going to be dependent on somebody else for our oil consumption anymore.
Right.
And they started then moving toward ethanol.
Uh-huh.
And you know how much oil Brazil imports?
No idea.
Not a bit.
Oh, really?
Not a bit.
Mm-hmm. We're also giving them money to develop their oil exploration.
Yes, that's right.
Our tax dollars.
Yeah.
But which I think is a little backward. I think we really ought to be dealing with our problems that we're dealing with at home, because to a large degree Brazil has solved their problem.
Yeah.
Now everybody that uses any type of fossil fuel, and that includes ethanol, because it's not pure ethanol. It's mixed with oil. Then you're going to have to accept the fact that there is a limited supply of this product.
Right.
And so we're going to have to realize that alternatives are going to have to be explored. There's no question about it. I think the best alternative right now is what we're seeing with a lot of these hybrid vehicles. There are lots of hybrids out there. Almost every auto manufacturer is making them.
Yeah.
And they have been getting good results.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's probably going to be the best bet, rather than going to an all-electric car.
There's only one decent all-electric car, and they are the ones that run on the hydrogen cell, not on batteries. And you can go as far as you can on a normal, like a normal car with a full tank of gas.
Mm-hmm.
But there's not many stations that have the hydrogen.
Yeah, like none.
Yeah, they don't
they're in California, most of them.
Yeah, what a surprise.
Yeah, exactly. Which is ridiculous.
No, the answer. I'm sorry. Go ahead. What were we going to say?
What is the exhaust or the byproduct of the hydrogen? Is that water?
It's water. Water. Yeah, water.
Right.
Yes.
When you combine hydrogen and oxygen, you get water. That would be a more feasible, in my opinion. It would be more feasible to explore that and start building up the means to support that than it would be to try to support something that's got a battery in it, that has chemicals in it, it also poses a fire hazard and an electrical hazard. And it just makes no sense.
Well, both the hybrid, both the hydrogen vehicle and the electric vehicle are not a viable option, because there is no infrastructure for you to be able to have a lot of freedom of movement. I mean, even if there are places where you can refuel your hydrogen car in California, outside of California there aren't. I don't know of any here in Arkansas. There may be, but I just don't know about them. But it would occur to me that the best thing to do, if we're going to develop that's years away. Because you've got to put in an infrastructure to support that.
Well, Toyota have already built a hydrogen car, and it is on sale, but only on sale in California.
Yeah.
And that the only reason is because California is the only state with hydrogen gas stations.
Yeah. I hate to be the grumpy old codger here from old school, but I still say Jarrell Anwar. Because there's about 3 trillion cubic feet of gas there. There's enough oil reserves there estimated to see us through to 2057. Okay, that's 2 years before I turn 100. Okay, I would be all about us drilling it. And I lived in Alaska for 2 years, and I was one of the guys. I was one of the wackos up there saying, "Oh man, they're like hurting the wildlife." And my buddy Charlie was out taking pictures of the wildlife. And guess what? There were caribou mating underneath the pipeline. It didn't bother them a bit. They kind of liked the shade. It turned out it didn't bother a thing. They didn't spill a drop of oil on that entire pipeline, and now they want to kibosh the whole thing. Now let's kill ourselves economically. Let's not bother taking oil that's ours and using it. No, because we might harm some microbe that's 5 feet in the permafrost. Give me a break.
Well, I think probably that Mr. Obama's agenda is not all about green industry. I think there's more to it than that.
I think you're right.
But if we're going to solve this problem, we've got to do it without going around the world to do it.
Oh, that's for sure. Saudi starters.
Well, no, I'm not. I was using that as a point. I wasn't even particularly talking about the real globe. I mean, solving the problem that we have right now. Again, something like the Chevy Volt. That's an idea that's 10, 15 years away in terms of, you've got to have infrastructure to do that. We don't have it.
But the hydrogen car isn't. When you think about it, how much water have we got on this planet? Now, what does water consist of? Hydrogen and oxygen. So exactly. So you can get the hydrogen out of the water, and the exhaust gas actually is water.
There's no question that that's true. However, if we decided today to mandate that all the auto manufacturers that service the United States have to develop a hydrogen vehicle.
Oh boy.
If that was decided, let's say that was decided, and that nobody pitched a fit or threw a fit or got upset about it. Let's say that decision was made. It would still take us years to have the delivery system in place to be able to deliver that fuel coast to coast.
Well, you know why it would never happen anyway, don't you?
I suppose you're about to tell me.
That's a loaded question. Go ahead.
Because the government make too much money on petrol.
Thank you.
It's always about money.
Well, they and for our U.S. listeners, petrol is gasoline. So just so that you know what Daniel's referring to. And you're right, Daniel. Every nation on earth taxes petrol, gasoline at an enormous rate.
Oh, yeah, they can get away with it, too.
And as the price of that commodity goes up, the tax revenue goes up.
Yep. Now, thank God we're still friends with Canada. Yeah, because, we get the majority of our gas or our oil from them. Yeah,
we were friends. The Keystone Pipeline may have, the kibosh of the Keystone Pipeline may have actually strained that relationship.
Well, yeah, strained it, but still, in as much as, Canada has an animosity against our country and isn't threatening to cut us off.
Sure.
We change administrations and everything could turn around. We changed the Congress and the Senate. That could dramatically change and things could go our way. But right now we're looking at $5 a gallon by July. Oh, I can hardly wait.
Yeah, there are places that are already there. With $5.
California. I've seen the signs. Yeah, they're there. Look, what happens out west usually catches up with us in about 3 months, normally, something like that.
I've heard projections of $6.50 a gallon.
Oh, good.
I filled up my car yesterday, and I have a little Chevy HHR.
Right. And how's the thing running, by the way? You just got that a month ago. How's that running for you?
It's actually running very well. It's a
hot rod, guys.
Well, it kind of looks like that. It's really not.
It only has to look like it. That's enough for me.
It has a 4-cylinder engine in it, a 2.4-liter 4-cylinder, and actually I am amazed at the pep that the vehicle has.
Pat, are you saying that you stepped on the gas? Are you trying to tell us that you actually peeled out somewhere?
I haven't peeled out. It's a front-wheel drive vehicle, and I haven't peeled out. But
would you do us a favor by the next time we get on the show? Would you peel out once at least so we could say, okay, Steve peeled out?
Do you know, it looks at that HHL looks like the daddy of the PT Cruiser. I'm sorry, Steve. That's an ugly car as well.
Well, actually,
an old car. What was it, Steve? The 47 Chevy or something?
Actually, let me tell you the history on that. The PT Cruiser came out and was met with huge success, and particularly with older drivers, because it was a throwback to the 40s and 50s design. Chevrolet decided we need to come up with something like that. They hired the design team for the PT Cruiser away from Chrysler, and he and his team designed the HHR, which stands for Heritage High Roof. Don't ask me why. It was modeled after the 1949 Chevrolet Suburban. And in fact, if you look at a picture of a 1949 Chevrolet Suburban and see an HHR, you'll go, wow, it's uncanny how much they look alike. So I was stunned at how much it looks like that vehicle.
Right.
Now, it's a small vehicle. It's way smaller than the 49 Chevrolet Suburban.
Right.
And it is supposed to be a great economy vehicle. I get about 20 miles to the gallon in town.
Nice.
And I get about 28 to 32 miles to the gallon out on the highway.
That's pretty good.
That's not bad.
Is there room inside?
It is. It's a four-door car.
Right.
And the back seat and it's actually a four-door station wagon.
Right.
The back seat will fold down. The passenger seat will also fold down so that you've got about 8 feet of room, cargo space.
Mm-hmm.
So you can put an 8-foot ladder in the vehicle if you so desired.
Without the hatch open?
Without the hatch open.
That's pretty good.
Now, folks, if you're listening and you think, I want to go buy one, well, you've missed the boat. You can only buy a used one because Chevrolet discontinued making it after the 2011 model year.
It just goes to show you. You come up with something decent, and they say, okay, let's stop it. It's like...
No, it was getting old, and it wasn't popular anymore.
Well, its sales increased every year that it was out, including the last year.
Yeah, what the heck? It's like the creamer I like for my coffee. They get me hooked on the flavor I like, and then they stop selling it. I'm like, what is wrong with you guys? You get me hooked on this flavor, cinnamon bun for my coffee, and they pulled it again. Oh.
And by the way, on the HHR, its sales increased with minimal promotion.
Right.
If they had promoted the HHR like they have the Chevy Volt, it would have sold 5 times the number of vehicles that it sold.
Yeah, unbelievable. Well, we're at the top of the hour, guys, and so just a couple of housekeeping issues. I want to remind everybody you are listening to Mark Mercer's Loving, Caring, and Sharing exclusively on North Star Radio. And, of course, I'm joined this evening by my producer, Daniel Davison, over in the UK, Steeton in Yorkshire, and also, of course, my co-host, Steve Deloach, who's in Springdale, Arkansas, joining us by way of Skype. Also on the phone, piggybacking in on me, is Bill Looman from down in Waco, Georgia. And, of course, we have our friend Don Hartness from down Mississippi way joining us for this evening's conversation. Now, we also have here in the studio my manager, George Reichard's son, Tyler, age 15, who's going to be doing a book review in a minute. I just want to remind everybody that if you do want to call in, you can by accessing your tele and calling us on the U.S. lines, area code 415-639-3180. I'll repeat that. That's area code 415-639-3180. In the UK, 0203-603-6256. Again, that's 0203-603-6256. If you want to get a hold of us, you can email me. My email address is mark@northstar-radio.co.uk. If you want to get a hold of my co-host, Steve, just email steve@northstarradio northstar-radio.co.uk. And, of course, all complaints to the management go directly to Daniel, and his email is, Daniel, I forget.
Studio.
That's right.